Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. I think I'm neglected to mention in the opening, guys, that we, for the first time, are at the C. Michael Lay Technology System in Hillenwood, Technology Center in Hillenwood. So first and foremost, I got to say thank you to the Scott County School System. Greg Bond is here. Coach Bill Hall is here for allowing us to use their facilities. This is where we will be throughout basketball season. And you see behind us the set that we have here, that the work that Greg Bond has put in has been incredible. We got to thank Trophy Masters for their help in this as well. We'll talk more about that later on. But right now, we are joined by a couple of Oneida Lady Indians. We've got a couple of juniors. We've got Braelyn Russ, and we've got Raylie Bush. Guys, thank you for joining us. And Raylie, I'll get to you in just a second. Braelyn, I got to ask you first of all, last year, Christmas tournament, we talked about Annaline Woodward from Scott High, your former teammate in middle school. She got hurt in that Christmas tournament. That was a costly Christmas tournament because the day before she got hurt, or maybe even the same day, you also went down with a knee injury. You were out for the rest of the season. Felt like you were just starting to get into your groove as a high school basketball player. You'd gotten some playing time as a freshman, stepped up into the starting role as a sophomore, and things were going well. Then you had to rehab and go through all that. Talk about your knee. How is it holding up at this point?
Well, it's doing really good. I pushed myself in therapy, and I got through it, and it was really tough. But I battled, and the Lord helped me through it, and I feel like I'm getting back to where I was.
And so you started the season coming off the bench, and I think now you've moved into the starting role. And so I think that's just a sign that your knee is continuing to get stronger and you're continuing to work your way back.
Yep.
All right. So, Raylie, I got to ask you, obviously last year especially, you really began to stand out as one of the better defensive players. I think probably, and I think Coach West would say, probably in all of Class A basketball in East Tennessee. Now, I watched you play a lot of middle school basketball at Huntsville. I don't remember you standing out defensively in middle school. Has defense always been your forte, or has Coach West kind of brought that out in you?
Coach West has definitely brought it out in me.
Oh, hang on just a second.
Try it again.
Coach West has definitely brought it out in me more, but I've always liked defense. I've loved it.
Can you pull your mic up a little closer?
Sorry, we should have checked this during the break.
Go.
Coach West has always brought it out in me, but I've always loved defense.
Well, ironically, I want to say this in her defense. I watched her at Huntsville too. I thought she was a pretty good defensive player.
Well, see, maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
And the only problem was, and that's a story for off the air, and I'll tell you what I think about that.
All right, I'm going to let you check her mic real quick, and then I'm going to ask Braelyn a question and follow up a little bit on what Ben was talking about. So last year, the Lady Indians, as you're dealing with the injury, you're watching them battle. Didn't win the district. Coalfield was able to do that, but you were able to make it to sub-state, or were able to be there with them at sub-state. What were you thinking during those times? I mean, when you weren't able to be there, was it a time when you were thinking about, when I get back next year, this is going to happen? What were you thinking?
I don't really remember what I was thinking, but I remember it was tough watching them and not being out there. But I was really helpful to them, and I cheered them on, and it was a tough time, but I'm glad to be back.
It makes every game count, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And so now I'm going to ask you this, because talking about Raylie, defensive standout, pretty good defensively as well. But now, talk about that three-point barrage night that we had there against Harriman that night, and you were kind of leading the way on that, weren't you? How many did you have that night?
I'm not real sure. I think it was like 7 maybe.
Just maybe 7. Mom, was it 7? I bet it was. So, yeah, 7 3-pointers, and they just kept feeding you the basketball. When you're in a zone like that, is it like they say the hoop looks really big, or what's going on? How can you tell?
I don't really know. I wasn't hesitating. I was just, every time I'd get it, I'd shoot it. The shot felt good, so.
Yeah. So now, is there a certain team that seems to bring a better player out in you that you seem to play better against, or a place other than home? Is there a gym floor that seems to bring you more success that you can think of?
Not that I can think of. I just play wherever. Yeah.
What about a team that if you're going to play them tomorrow night, you're going to have your hands full?
No, not really.
It's just everybody? You just take everybody the same?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that approach has worked for you so far. Raylie, what about defensively? Is there a player that you have thought, okay, tonight I'm playing this person and that's going to be a challenge?
Yeah, York, Reese Banning, she's really good. It's hard to lock her down, but I'll try my best.
Yeah, so she's a really powerful player for them. And so what about in district? Is there somebody that gives you a lot of trouble?
I forgot her name. Cadence Jackson from Cofield, she's really good too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know when I'm watching, I'm thinking as a parent too, if I were a parent and you were guarding my child, you would aggravate me to death. And that's a good thing though. And you're right, Coach West does preach the defensive part about this, but long range goals, and I'm going to go with Raylie first, long range goals coming into this season. Did you all talk about where you wanted to see yourselves at the end of the year?
Yeah, we see ourselves going to the state. We really think we can make it.
Do you have certain teams that you think are going to be the benchmarks you have to get past?
Definitely Cofield is the biggest in the district, and Hampton's really good, and Cloudland for the region.
And last year's opponent, North Green, is pretty good again as well, so maybe another shot at them. What's going to be the key to having success in the postseason? I think I know the answer, but what do you think it's going to be?
Defensive intensity and rebounding. That's our biggest thing right now.
Yeah, and I think also having the home court is going to be a big thing. So positioning yourselves, which is already starting, right, with the district, with the falter by Coalfield at Wartburg. And can you tell everybody where the district is this year?
It's at Oneida.
It's at Oneida. It's been a while, right? It's been a while. It's an opportunity coming out of the district. That's, again, kind of for positioning in the region. And so it's an opportunity to do that. So are you excited about the hosting aspect of it this year?
Yes, very. I love playing on the home court.
I don't guess you've never had a outside a sub-state game. You had a sub-state game at home, but you've never had like a district or a region game at Oneida High School. It's been a while.
Been a while.
That's gonna be a big one. So this week, tomorrow night, you go to Wartburg, and then Saturday, no rest because the Lady Buffaloes of Clark Range come in. And what's so difficult about Clark Range? Because it's always been difficult. Oneida's only defeated the Lady Buffaloes, I think, 2, maybe 3 times in their history. So what makes them so tough?
I think it's where they always go to state every single year, and they're a really good winning team, and they can shoot the three. And I just don't feel like we defend a three-point line like we should.
Braelyn, what do you think? You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Oneida to get the win Saturday, give me 3 things that you think has to happen.
We have to rebound, defense, and we just need to be confident on offense.
All right.
I can't believe I get to do this. I'm going to correct Tim again. And this is going back about 10 minutes, okay? But just because I know.
I'm sure glad it's Tim and not me.
Well, I'm going to catch it for the first time, so I'm just going to go ahead and get my money's worth while I'm at it. Coalfield swept Oneida in the regular season last year, but Oneida got the upset in the district tournament.
Yeah.
And we're district champions. Yeah. So, and I think I made that mistake earlier in the year, so I'll put myself under that bus as well. Coalfield did get their revenge in the region tournament, so just want to throw that out there.
Gotcha. You're right.
Tim knew that.
I've been in sleep mode for 2 weeks, so I'm just getting back into it.
Raylie Bush, Braelyn Russ, thank you guys for joining us. Good luck tomorrow night as you go to Wartburg for a big district game.
Got to give them a chance to shout out and say hey to anybody they want to now.
How about it, guys?
Hi, Moms.
They're making this
there
easy.
There you go.
All right, guys, thank you. Good luck tomorrow night. We'll take another break. When we come back, we're just getting started. We're a half hour in, an hour and a half to go. We're going to switch gears and talk to some Lady Highlanders right after this.